Well, sometimes I start with a card and sometimes start with a song. But this time I start with a song because the song, I've had a song going through my head all night that I've never played before. And so I learned the song this morning for the first time and I'm going to play it. For some reason, I don't know why, we'll see how it fits in with everything. Four strong winds that blow lonely, seven seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. The good times have all gone, and I'm bound to moving on. I'll talk to you if I'm ever back this way. Four strong winds that blow lonely, seven seas that run wild, all those things that don't change, come what may. Now the good times have all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I'll talk to you if I'm ever back this way. Okay, now we're picking the card by division and by rejection of whichever hand nature decides. Now I tilt it, that can go. It's time to pack up. It's time to pack things up and it's time to get rid of all the old stuff. See, I'm bending down there because I think I'm zoomed in, but I'm not zoomed in. Not yet. It's all this hand's going. It's all that hand. Okay. Object of rank. The dog's barking. The dog's barking. It's not that card, okay? It's not that card. That card wasn't picked. That card wasn't picked zoomed in. Because that is the confirmation card. We're going completely the opposite way now, okay? We're going completely the opposite way. Right, so let's do, this is now the card of the reading. Not that one, that one. That one. That one. That one. That one. That one. Caster of demons. Caster of demons. Right, okay. Caster of demons. That's our card. This is going to be interesting. Okay, this is a most unusual drawing of cards. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about both of these subjects together. And then somehow this is going to confirm object of rank something. I don't know what's going on here. I'll talk about both of these things and then we'll see. Okay. Okay, well, you'll see that the exposure was a bit overdone there, and so as a master of photography I'm supposed to notice things like that, and the reason it was like that was because I didn't check the exposure last time I did it. I just switched it on from the previous day, and the previous day was dealing with candlelight, and so slightly different exposure required there. Now, I want first of all to talk about objects of rank, because I noticed when I zoomed in on the card, just by chance, there happened to be the Opinel knife was in the picture there, together with the card. That was the only thing in the picture, and as the candle got cropped out even, and so to show that the Opinel knife and the card were the only subject in the picture. And everything we have is an object of rank. I notice normally the phone doesn't live here, but now the phone is here. Even the phone is an object of rank. This is an iPhone 8, Model 8 Plus, an iPhone 8 Plus, okay? And 8 is the number of the couple, and the 8 is a couple because it shows the figure 8 has got two halves to it, and it's a transformation number also from one level to another. And when we go through a transformation, what we're doing is we're going up a step on the great chain of being. The great chain of being goes down from being just an animal, a human, up through being, up to becoming an angel, and up to God, the closest you can get to God himself. And then there's always sort of the path downwards through the demonic realms. That is the pathway of damnation. And we're talking about the pathway of salvation. The pathway of salvation, we have nice objects of rank, yeah? And on the pathway of damnation, we also have objects. They can be the same objects, yet they're normally battle scarred, they're normally bad colours, and so on and so forth. And so my latest object of rank, well, first of all, let's get that through the hat, because my eye is shot over here to the hat. Let's get through the hat first, because I've got a different hat on to what I started this video, and your hat is your main object of rank. That's the main thing that you have that determines your position in nature, your step on the great chain of being. Which step are you actually on? And there's both the colour of the hat, the type of material that it's made from, and the shape of the hat, the style of the hat. And so I have two hats, and I'm remembering, means I have to remember something. So okay, so I'm going too quickly. My old hat. This is my old hat from about just over a year ago, because the hat that I got, that I had before this, that blew off on the end of my boat trip, and so this is the hat that I got to replace that hat. And I have another hat. I have two hats, always have two. One is a brimmed hat, and the other is this kind of hat. And this kind of hat is, and the third hat is this sort of hat, yeah. And if I go anywhere, just going about my normal day-to-day business, I'll wear this hat. If I'm doing my main work as a philosopher and prophet and so on, then I'll be wearing this hat. And if I have to be the lawgiver, go out and do some really serious law-giving stuff, perhaps I have to sing a very strong song or something like that, or go out and do some strong work with people casting out demons. If I were to cast out demons, this is the hat that I would wear, because this is my most powerful hat. When I've got this hat on, I can do all those sorts of difficult tasks, deal with difficult people. You know. I said you know what I'm talking about. So we won't wear this hat any longer. This hat's very quick, yeah, very quick. I knew that straight away. Let's move it on. It's very quick, very powerful, very quick. And my old hat before that, well, I have to show you all the hats because I don't throw them away. They're good for other things. Because I can never be without a hat really, otherwise I'd be doing nothing, I'd be wasting my life away. So this is my old hat. As you can see, it's not as powerful as the other one. This is my old lawgiver hat, okay. And the old lawgiver hat summer version is this one, which I wear on my boat here, and when I'm working, doing stuff like that. But it's also the general hat of. I'm very active when I put this hat on. I'm very active. I'm just cleaning the boat and getting it ready to go in the water, and then sailing it. Yeah, and also being a lawgiver at the same time, if that needs to be done. And so I get rid of that hat. Now this hat's obsolete, and it's done its job, and I'll probably be getting another one of those, another hat of that type, when I do the boat thing this year, if I do the boat thing this year. So a lot of hats, and I've been through an enormous number of hats on this journey, yeah, enormous number. And most years I'm getting a new hat, although some years I must say I've had the hat for a number of years in some cases. And so that's my position, and as I said before, you can have multiple hats, or you can just have one hat. Yeah. Right. Now the opposite of the hat, if you like, is your guitar or musical instrument, okay? Because this is your lady. This is your lady's position. And as your lady gets higher, my lady plays a flute, and as her man gets higher, she needs a better flute. But you know, ladies' flutes are really, really, really expensive. Really expensive. I don't know how we do that on this pathway of poverty. We don't know. So I have this 12-string guitar. It's my most recent guitar, and I have two guitars, always two guitars at the same time. There's an electric guitar and there's an acoustic guitar. I generally get two around about the same time, and I feel I'm ready. I'm already looking at electric guitars. I know I need another electric guitar, and I'm still tossing up which one it is. Because I went through an initiation recently, very recently, just whilst doing some of these cards. And so I'm ready for new objects of rank. And when you go through your initiation and you go and you step onto the next step, you do it together with your lady, both at the same time. Okay. There can be a little bit of a day difference, 2-day difference, where you might have to put her through a final test, or vice versa. Because what happens when you get the initiation is you think you've got it, and then something happens, or some final test will catch you napping. Okay, now I've got it. And then your objects of rank appear in the universe. Yeah. So in my case, it's the guitars and the hats. Now the other thing with the hat, you've got the hat and the knife. This is also another kind of opposite, the hat and the knife. Because the hat is a female object, but when you put it on your head, it's kind of like a male object. It has a female object because it's a bowl-shaped thing, yeah. And you can have a female hat and a male hat. This is a male hat, this is a female hat. Yeah, this is softer, this is more manlic. And so I talked previously about the Opinel knife and how there's a journey of Opinel knives that go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 through all of the knives. And I started off, it's funny, you seem to start off on the number 10. I started on the number 10 because you start off with number 10 because at that point you become a master and you now put on the journey to the divine couple, and now you lose your number 10 and you've got to work your way through the other numbers until you get to the number 8 here. You know, the number 8 is the couple knife, and your lady's got number 8 and you've got number 8. You've got 2 number 8s, you're 88. Okay, hopefully you do it before you get to 88 years old. Yeah. And so that's an object of rank. Yet it can become superseded by greater objects, and you can have the bigger knife and then you can have the sword, and the biggest knife or sword that you've got in your collection, that is your actual object of rank. And the knife just becomes a tool then, yeah. So it loses its, the same as an old hat, it's just a hat, yeah. If you want a hat to wear while you're working on your motorbike or something, you could put one of these on, yeah? So you don't want to mess your good hat up, one of your old hats. And you're out, you're not the lawgiver, you're just fixing your bike, yeah? Okay, now, other objects, right? So this object kept making itself noticed whilst I was making coffee just before I made this video, started making this video, because this object is always given to me by the lady. And the lady, the fact that I've got one of these objects at all, the flask of the lady, this is given to me by it means that I have a lady. Yeah? If I lost my lady, I wouldn't be able to find my flask. It would just be gone. That would be the end of me. Right? So that's a sign of the rank that I have a lady. Okay? I'm not a single person. You know. Now your cup that you're drinking out of also has to change in the course of time. I've had this cup for a long time. One of the important things about this cup is it's a jade cup. It's a jade cup. And it's a faceted jade cup, like a diamond. I don't know. This is. I don't know how. And it's got a gold rim and it's white inside. It's a very unusual cup, and I was led to this cup. I don't think it's anything. Doesn't. But it's got must have some significance, because the previous cup I had before this, I think, was white, more like a curve, more curve to it, and it didn't have the gold edge on it. Now I have a whole set of these cups, because that's the group cup. And it's not your special Holy Grail cup, although it can be at some point before you get a real Grail. So before you get a real Grail, your Grail is just your cup, or you're trying to get the Grail, then that object is your cup. But it's not yet a Grail. A Grail is an extra thing that you get. And so this is my old Grail. This is my old Grail cup, okay? And a Grail looks like a Grail, right? And the new Grail, if you have a look at one of my other videos, you'll see I show my real Grail, which is a wooden one now, okay? But I have been through quite a few different Grails, yeah? As you go through the various steps on the great chain of being, past your initiations, yeah? Okay, now I'm told I must stop now, so that's what I'll do. Right, now I noticed when I stopped there and looked at the video, the number of the video was number 50. And I told you before, number 10, that's the master, single master. Number 20, that's 2 masters, 10 plus 10 is 20, 20. Number 30, 30, that's the number of the group, okay? Now 40 is a higher level thing than just the group. Perhaps that's a national thing. And 5-0 is the next level above the nation again, right? So 5-0 is a very high level on the great chain of being, okay? And all these objects that you see around me that I've accumulated on my journey that has taken me to that 5-0 level, okay? And part of that journey means that not only do you have to be a master of every art that you're practicing, not just one art, every art, because every year I work on all my arts. I work on my art of music, I work on my art of photography, I work on my art of philosophy, I work on my art nothing else, okay? That must be it. You might have more. I used to be a master skateboarder, but I'm too old for that. I'm a sailor. I'm working as a master sailor. Am I a master? I've mastered a lot of stuff sailing, believe you me. I made sailing boats from nothing. So yes, and there's also architecture. I've been through all that. And the sailing boat is another kind of architecture. It's an architectural journey, really. So there's many things that you can become master of, but all of these things require you to become a doctor of eventually. Now, to get your doctorate in any of these arts, you need to actually improve the art, to go beyond wherever anybody's ever been with the art. Like Elon Musk took rocketry and car science to another level. And so you have to do that yourself in some form in terms of whatever, all of the arts that you're doing. So you've got to take music into some other form. You have to take photography into some other form. You have to take philosophy into some other form, okay? Everything that you do to get your doctorate, okay? Now, once you get your doctorate, you have to become a guild master in that particular art. That's the next level, where you actually look after a whole guild of philosophers as the head of a guild of philosophers. And so you become like a leader in the field of all of the arts that you're doing, okay? And when you become a leader in the field, what you have to have is you have to have objects of rank associated with a leader of the field. And what happens to leaders of the field is they become the historians of their field. So a philosopher becomes a historian of the whole of history. A photographer becomes a historian of the development and history of photography. A musician master becomes responsible for maintaining the history of the performers and players and the instruments and some of the technologies that that were produced. Not just so, he doesn't just have the latest, he has some of the old stuff as well in his collection that he's preserving for the benefit of the children of the future. So you become a preserver of the histories. And you have to be an elder to do this. And so as you become an elder, so you start to do this. Now I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to show you, I'm probably going to have to turn the volume down on it because I'll be close up to the microphone. I'm going to show you, lead you through some of the objects that I have in my house that cover all those things that I do, and because I'm looking after the history of all of those subject matters, okay? Okay. Well, at this point you can see the camera's gone all crazy because somehow I pressed the button at the wrong moment, and instead of starting a video I stopped a video. And then when I hit the stop button, it started the video. So all you got was what I didn't want to show you, me just walking around the house. So I showed you all these objects. Well, you don't need to see all these objects. All you need to know is I've got cameras, I've got all stuff, basically. And so, but whilst I was doing this, on the one of the videos it was turned off, but it was actually running, it captures the knock, 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 knock on the door, because my object of rank just arrived. I've been waiting for it for days. It's kind of like, you don't know when it's going to arrive. Tomorrow, the next day, how long it's going to take in the post. But it arrived in this moment, and so this is the knock on the door video. And then for some reason it got the sequence reversed again, so it actually caught the bit of me unboxing the amplifier that had just arrived in the post, okay? The Fender Princeton Chorus, the couple amplifier. Okay, we carry on. You'll see it's in a line 6 box. That's the dark side, line 6. 6 is the darkness. You'll see 6 is an anti-spiral. It's a spiral going the wrong way. Okay, so out of the darkness comes a light. So a very light object is going to come out of here. Okay, so for this you need your trusty Opinel. There's a very nice gentleman that sent me this. He said he was going to package it well, and so he did. It's a good job he did, because otherwise it wouldn't have survived that rolling over business. Right, welcome home. Welcome home, Fender Princeton Chorus. I used to have one of these when I went on my material journey with my lady Carol. This was the first amplifier, the first guitar amplifier I ever had, and now I have another one for this couple, because music is something I've been doing for years. Never been very good at it, but I've always done it. And you'll see here it's got mono and stereo. It's got stereo amplifiers and stereo speakers. 2 inputs, 2 outputs. Okay. Now, I suppose that leads us to casting out demons, yeah. And so, because that's associated with objects too. So, I'll take 5 and then we'll cover that subject. Now, whenever you get or receive new objects like this into the house, if they've been used, if they're second-hand objects, and sometimes even new objects if they're made in very bad factories in the Far East, what happens is they can be polluted, and wherever anybody touches things and handles things and makes things, their spirit, part of their spirit, passes into the object, and so objects can contain spirit, and especially certain types of objects, leather in particular, like this leather hat or leather jackets, they're very, very susceptible. Animal materials, yeah. And how I learnt about this really was, for the first time, was I needed a new object of rank, a new jacket, and I saw a leather jacket in the shop, and I thought that would be the one. I needed a new jacket. So I bought the jacket and I put it on, and that night I had a terrible, terrible experience, you know, of the person who used to have the jacket, because what happens is if you're a high level player on the pathway of ascension, what happens is you can see, if you touch objects, you can see into the person who's had the object previously, or the object is connected to. And if you pick up an object that's very dark, a bad person has had it, an evil person's had it, you'll get some very, very bad experiences, some of the bad things that happen to that person in their life. And so it's not a nice thing to have happen to them. And metal objects especially do this. They can I'm having to remember that this magnetic materials even more so, and these amplifiers have magnetic speakers, big heavy metal magnetic parts in them, and so these can contain spirit. Yet if a magnet, if you play music from an electric guitar into a speaker with a magnet, you can quickly eliminate whatever's in there and purify that thing with your own playing. And when you actually first try it, you'll find that you can hardly play, because you've got to cast out the demon in the object here. Now, when I got that very bad jacket, leather jacket, I didn't bother trying to purify the object. I just threw it away. I threw it away into the river. I cast it into the river and let it just go. I didn't want to see that ever again, having woke up with the experience. I knew what it was straight away. And so if you ever have this bad dream experience, think of any objects you might have touched or new stuff you brought into your life, and clothing especially. And you should always wash anything that you buy from a second-hand shop, charity shop. You should really wash it before you use it if it's been worn. A lot of the stuff, I noticed a lot of the stuff that I got second-hand when I had to buy stuff, I had to get stuff from charity shops, was often women's clothing, you know, women's pants and stuff like that. And the reason is that ladies purify the stuff that when they wear it, ladies purify everything, and so, but men like contaminate everything, and so if it's a man's thing, it's much more easier to live with second-hand ladies stuff than it is with second-hand man stuff. I noticed that I ended up buying it said it was a new unworn motorcycle outfit, but when I got it I could smell perfume on it, you know, and I knew it had probably been bought for a lady, worn once, and then she just didn't want to go motorcycling, and she got on the back of the bike once and that was it. And but because it was a lady that had worn it, it wasn't so bad. But if it had been a man that had worn it, I probably would have had to throw it away. Yeah. It's very difficult to purify that sort of stuff. And if you buy like a second-hand guitar, I don't like to do it anymore, you know. If you buy that other second-hand guitar, I only have one second-hand guitar, and that was hardly played, and so it didn't really make any difference. But as you play a guitar, that kind of movement, it's going to be hard if you've got a new guitar, or if you've got a used guitar, If somebody hasn't been doing that on the way, if they've just been trying to do it using their brain, it's not going to flow. You're going to find yourself inhibited in your playing. And so it's necessary to break in new equipment. And it always starts to sound better and it becomes easier to play the more energy you put into anything. And so likewise, if you put energy into, if bad people put energy into stuff and they're forcing themselves, they're not on the way, then they're contaminating the energies of the object, and if you try to use it, you won't be able to use it. I remember having this experience. Somebody gave me an axe. A blacksmith made an axe for me. When I got to the Bosnia Rainbow Gathering, just before I arrived, he said, I feel I have to give it to you, and he gave me the axe. And so I had the axe, and I used the axe to cut teepee poles, to cut small trees into teepee poles and strip them. I did a lot of work with the axe. And I also lent the axe to other masters to cut poles, and they cut teepee poles, and 12 different masters made 12 different poles. And we made a teepee this way. And when we finished making the teepee, somebody came and just took the axe, a dark master, because he wanted to use the axe. And they said, when they watched him use it, they said he couldn't use it. He said every time it hit, he just smashed it into stones. He just couldn't use it. It wasn't working for him. And when I got it back, it was all the whole of the axe was just destroyed. You couldn't actually use the axe anymore. And it just wouldn't work. Yeah, it's because obviously by him trying to use my energies, which were all done high level on the way, he wasn't able to use that object. It was just, when he went left, it went right. It was crazy. So that's the demonic aspects to objects. Yeah, and you can purify objects. Some of you can purify objects by just purifying them. So you can take an object like this, and you can say, I purify this object. Yeah. Before you use it, and if you remember to do that, then you won't have the bad dream experiences. But if you forget, you're meant to forget, and then you'll have the bad dream experience. You all experience this after you watch this video, because you'll need to experience it. So you'll get that dream and you'll know what it is. Yeah. I'm not talking something I made up here. This is actual science based on experience. Yeah. There's always another reason why you pick the flask up. Whenever I see the flask, it's time for a cup of coffee. I'm a bit dry. Now, it's better not to buy second-hand leather stuff. If it's been worn by your chance of it being worn by the dark side, if it's coming to you, is probably remote, because for a start, they have to be at the level to wear the object, and so if they're not at the level, they can't wear the object. So you're getting the object from somebody who is, if it's your type of object that's good for your rank, you're getting it from somebody of a similar rank. Yeah. So it may be somebody who has been on that journey in the material phase, though, and not on the spiritual journey. This is why I'm doing it now after having got this amplifier, because I know with this amplifier that you can get this amplifier twice. You can get the same objects twice at different levels. And so I had this amplifier object when I first started my mission in the group, my group work. I was going and playing music in a group, and I needed a group object. And this is a group object because in actual fact, you can plug, this guitar has two outputs. And you can plug 2 other amplifiers into this and have 3 amplifiers. That gives you the 30. And that's probably what I'm going to do, because I've got 2 amplifiers. I normally play them 2, one plugs into the other. But now I can plug all 3 of those amplifiers together and make a group amplifier arrangement. And so that's probably what I'm going to do with this amplifier. And that's one of the reasons why I have it. But I didn't know that when I got it. I just fancied getting a Fender Princeton chorus like I had as part of the history. I wanted to keep the history of that. Yeah. And I also wanted to reassess the sound of it to see whether I was right that that was a good sounding amplifier in its time. Yeah. Because I have a good sounding amplifier now, and I wanted to make sure that's as good as this one, this particular one. Yeah. And that was the reason for actually ordering it. But now I know it's my next object of rank, and it's good that it was on my material phase I had one, and now I've got one on the spiritual phase of the journey, because I can see that at the same time as I was going on to the group journey, in my material phase, now I've got the same object going to my group journey in the spiritual phase. This is, the one was the material group, the band, you know. We're all working in the world, but we're playing music part-time. Yeah. And now I'm full-time spiritual work, and it's not so much to do the work with the music that I have the amplifier, it's just because it's an object of rank for that level, a group work, a spiritual journey. I said a lot of words. Is it enough for a mellow puff? Now we have the other objects of rank that pitched up a couple of days ago too. We have it's also a double thing. We have a fridge and a freezer, one above the other. The freezer at the bottom, the fridge at the top. Yeah, it's a couple object again. It's male-female system. And we have now the bread maker. This is also a male-female object, both together, because it's got the part that does the turning and beating the bread, and it's got the part that cooks the bread, the oven and the bowl that it gets mixed in. And so it's got all of the aspects of the couple in it, and so it's a couple object. Yeah, it signifies you're a couple. And this bread maker, it's never been used, because it was probably given to somebody as a present, and they probably weren't up to it, up to the level, and so they just never ever used it. It must have sat in the house, they must have died, because all this stuff that this guy sells, it's all people that they clear out the houses when the old people move on, and then he gets to sell all their stuff in his little shop. So that's probably where it came from. And the mirror object is also a male-female object, because it's got the mirror, and then it's got the stand that the mirror tilts in. So all the objects that I've received lately have all been couple objects. And it's because we're now finishing the couple journey and we're moving on to the group journey. What happens with journeys is you always start the next journey, the next level journey, just before you finish the previous level. So when you haven't quite become a master yet, you haven't got the number 10 initiation, you are actually starting to learn the couple stuff. You're starting to have meetings about, starting to come to knowledge of the couple way. Yeah? And when you become a Ma, when you actually get that initiation, then you're strongly on the journey to the couple. And towards the end of the couple journey, you start to get the group effect. You're starting to meet people and you feel like you're wanting to form a group and stuff, but you're not doing it yet. And then when you go through the initiation, get all your couple objects and stuff, then that's a start. You're ending the couple journey and starting the group journey. Well, I hope that's of use to people. Everybody's at a different place on the great chain of being, but we're all heading in the same way, and the journey is the same for everybody. It's a universal journey in the universal church, the Holy Catholic Church, the whole universe, which means undivided, Catholic, which means universal, applies to everybody, church, which is the elect in the world, the elect of God. The Church of God is the elect, the 144,000, the 12 times 12 groups of saved people that are moving out in every end time. Thanks for watching. Now, I watched the video back and I noticed I didn't tell you how to cast out real demons, and that's really easy. You just say, out, demons, out. And if you want to cast one out of your partner or somebody you're actually dealing with, you don't address the person in the body, you address the demon directly and you say, get out of her, you demon. That's it, that's all you need to know. Now in the 1960s, a band called the Fugs cast the demons out of the White House to stop the Vietnam War and all that stuff, and so they held a gathering outside the White House and they all chanted, out, demons, out, out, demons, out, out, demons, out. And they say, in the name of, in the name of, in the name of, in the name of. You don't need to do all that. Forget the name of. Just the out, demons, out is enough. And so it's a special time we're in because D VANCE is in Munich, where the Hitler push was, and he's meeting the NATO and the globalist people and really giving them the hard push, say you're out, you're finished, it's over with, yeah, all this nonsense, globalist takeover of the world. And so we're casting out now the demons out of the world, not just the White House, it's out of the world, the whole world is now being purified of these demons. And the good group is now being installed in the world to inaugurate the new time that we're in, which is the golden age. Okay, the golden age is where man gets things right. You know, an old friend of mine, John McDonnell, who I helped, an old master, the first words of his play, A Golden Age is Coming, was, a golden age is coming, a golden age is near, a time for gloom and darkness to fade and disappear, a time for new beginnings, emerge into the light, a time for man to serve God's plan, and this time get it right. Okay, that's the summary of his play, and that's what's coming now. And so that's what that song was about that we started off with. I didn't know where this was leading, but that song, remember that song that we started off with? What was that song? I'll do it. Okay, I think we're going to do it on this guitar, and we're going to use this microphone. We'll see how we get on. For strong winds that grow lonely, seven seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. Now the good times have all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I'll talk to you if I ever back this way. For strong winds that blow only, seven seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. Oh, the good times have all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I'll talk to you if I'm ever back this way. Okay, so now I see what it's all about. We're casting out the demons of the globalists because it's bye-bye to all the globalists. I see that D VANCE is in Munich at the moment, at the place where the Hitler putsch was, and he's given the hard word to the NATO people and the globalist people that it's all over now, baby blue. And Elon Musk, at the same time, I watched a video this morning of Elon Musk. He's showing the people the future, and it's the end of all this nonsense going on the global stage. And time to start doing things right, cleaning out the old inefficient and wrong ideas. And at the same time, Donald Trump is talking to Mr. Putin, and they're getting on in the world and going to get on and sort out the problems with the war in Ukraine and all that nonsense, okay? All a product of the globalists, the Western material greed cult. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's out, demons out to that lot. Thanks for watching.